The second half of the Pro Motocross season begins today, and it has continued with a torrid season-long fight with Jet versus Hunter Lawrence. In the first moto, Hunter led, got held up by lap traffic, and that allowed Jet to take the advantage, winning the moto by a half of a second. But another moto looms. Who will seize the momentum today at Spring Creek? From Millville, Minnesota, it is round 7 of the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship, sanctioned by AMA Pro Racing, the Frescados Premium Tortillas Spring Creek National. Jason Wigan and two-time 250 national champion Jeremy Martin here to talk about your 250 class and what a battle we had in the first moto of the day. We can show you the highlights of that. No surprise, it has been the Lawrence brothers story all year long, and it continues.
Yeah, you're definitely right, Jason. It was a great first moto. The Lawrence brothers battling hard.
Jacob, in the fight. He had the lead early. Now watch this. Jet Lawrence gotten around him. Nice line by Justin Cooper to take over the spot.
Just a great, clean inside line. Gets a great drive up the hill. Makes the move on Jet.
That didn't last long. On the bottom of the hill, here's Jacob.
Yeah, unfortunately, maybe it was a little wet down there from the watering.
And just like that, it actually holds up Jet also, which allows Hunter to take the lead. Hunter builds up a gap, but then he makes a mistake.
Yeah, he made a little mistake. Lucky to save that. And then, as you can see, Jet blocks his brother. Great defensive move right there.
Yeah, he takes advantage, but Hunter wasn't done. He almost got the lead back here. Couldn't quite hold that line. And then he is going to get it into this turn after the finish.
I mean, they went back and forth at least 2 or 3 times. I mean, you don't really see this. What a great race.
And then late in the race, Jet gets close. Hunter gets held up by lap traffic. Hunter put that one in himself and said, I've got to be better in the lappers. That allows Hunter to take the lead for the final time. This is the last turn. Look how close it is, and negotiating traffic. Hunter holds on. Final margin of victory, 0.524 seconds. 0.5 after 30 minutes. Great racing between the brothers. Joe Shimodo would end up third with another typical Joe Shimoda bad start. Great finish. And to take the measure of Max Volan on the final lap to get that third place position. All right, let's reintroduce Jason Thomas to the show. We'll send it trackside. JT, what have you got?
Well, this 250 class is all about horsepower and torque. And for the last few years, the Yamahas have really been the story. Now, if you notice for 2022, both the Hunter and Jet Lawrence, their starts have improved. And I asked Lars Lindstrom about that earlier this morning and said they've been making big strides. You saw the other side of that at Redbud, though. Big strides don't come without questions in reliability. He assured me that they fixed the problem. You saw Southwick was great, doing great here this weekend. But it's that back and forth, the yo-yo effect between Yamaha and Honda at the moment.
Yeah, don't forget, this is an all-new bike this year for Honda. So you've got to imagine that they're learning with each week, or at least every couple of weeks. They probably got something new.
Yeah, absolutely. And with them being in a championship hunt like this, I mean, it's risky to try something at this point in the season. So obviously you're always looking for more power, but is it worth the risk?
Yeah, because as JT mentioned, there was a bike problem that was originally what led Jet Lawrence to cough up the points lead at Redbud. They say they've got that fixed, and we're ready for more battle today.
The 50th anniversary season of Pro Motocross is brought to you by Lucas Oil. Keep that engine alive. General Tire. For whatever you do, General Tire delivers. And by Honda, celebrating 50 years of off-road dominance.
Here's your GoPro course preview. We had the camera mounted on Pierce Brown and this Shirley Designs Red Bull gas from earlier today.
Here he is coming at the end of the whoops. Wide open into that dozer berm. Setting up for this next turn. Looking to take it on up the uphill.
Dirt looks so good back there.
God, it looks epic, doesn't it?
I know you're enjoying your time in the booth.
Yeah.
You want to be racing the motorcycle
today.
Absolutely.
This is a cool new challenge for me, but man, the track just looks too good.
You're leaving a hint, though. You might be able to get a race or two in by the end of the year if this works out.
Yeah, if we can get this next 4 or 5 weeks going, I'd like to try.
Okay, we'd like to see you out there. That's a GoPro course preview. I know you got a new bike you want to try it, now part of the Muck-Off Club MX Yamaha team. So hopefully we get you out there for the last 2. Okay, we're almost ready for our final 250 moto of the day. It was a fantastic battle between Jet and Hunter Lawrence in Moto 1. You also got to wonder what Joe Shimoda could have done with a better start there. He's ended up third. Here's your MX versus ATV track map. You see the main race track there, but what's that stuff over there on the right, J-Mark?
Yeah, that's the Martins, Alex, and my practice track. We've got a turn track up there. We've got another track. That's where a lot of worked on my craft.
Okay, that is pretty nasty, that track up there. I've seen the videos.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. So you could probably see it on my Instagram a couple times. And then, as you can see, what a place. A lot of tracks to ride.
Yeah, not a bad place to have in your backyard.
Yeah, I was pretty lucky, I'd say.
Absolutely. Okay, since you know this track so well, you're well prepared for this. This is our KTM Keys to the Moto. What do we need to do today?
Yeah, so I'd say the KTM Keys to the Moto today is obviously get a clean start. If you're in the top 5, if you're Jet, Hunter, or Joe, that's a win. You don't want to be on the ground. And then number 2 is you know that they probably put some water down. So be line awareness. Look at the soil. It's got a hard base to it. And adapt to the ever-changing track conditions.
Well, we literally saw Justin Cooper take the lead with a great line, and then the very next section crash because of a bad line, all on the first lap of that first moto.
Yep, absolutely. And I'm curious to see, these guys, that they went back to the truck. They talked to the suspension guy. You know that they had their in-between moto race ritual snack. They had some electrolytes. You know that they're probably feeling a little fatigued. The legs are probably a little heavy. And we're about ready. There's a lot of points on the line, and the gate's about to drop.
Yeah, and now the mechanics move away. You can see the nerves on the face there of Justin Cooper before he put the goggles on. He's ready to try to right the wrongs after crashing out of the lead on the first lap of moto number 1. Let's see if anyone else can get in there and challenge the Lawrence brothers. Or is it just going to be another 96 versus 1 duel right here? Fly Racing 30-second card is up. When it goes sideways, the revs will climb. It was a fantastic battle between the brothers, Jet and Hunter in Moto 1, looking for another one here in Moto 2.
Man, I tell you what, when you're on the line like that right now, your nerves are just going. The cards turn sideways. You click second gear.
Here it comes.
Ooh, looks like Hunter's off to a good start.
But it might be Cooper knifing to the inside. Can he get that motosport.com hole shot? I think Cooper has it. A couple other riders there in the back.
Down.
Yep, having their problems. No, I think it's Hunter charging down the inside. Wow, that was a good charge by Hunter.
And we got the rookie, Nick Romano.
Yeah, Nick Romano able to wrestle the lead away from Cooper. And then Hunter Lawrence takes second from Cooper now. And there's Jet trying to follow him through.
Oh, wow, look at that drive up the inside.
Unbelievable. So Cooper might get shuffled from 1st to 4th here. Oh, Hunter almost lost the front end trying to find that berm. So Nick Romano, the rookie out of New York, in the lead. Things are happening quickly here for Jake Coop. He's been pushed back to 4th. He has more pressure being applied by the 47 of Hamaker.
And we got Jet Lawrence, Hunter Lawrence, Joe Shimodo in 3rd, and Cooper.
So here it is up front, Nick Romano. How long can he hold on with the pressure that's going to be applied from Hunter Lawrence here at the top of the hill? So Romano learning in a hurry. Only turned pro at round 1 of this series. The rider out of straight up New York City. So he had to drive about 2 hours to find a track. A little bit different than growing up here at Millville, Minnesota.
Yeah, I didn't even have to load the bike up in the truck.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit different story for him. But he actually says, maybe it worked out for the better. He's not burned out on motorcycles. Didn't get to ride them as much as he would like, certainly in the wintertime as well. But right now, he's putting his skills to the test with both Hunter and Jet right there. Hunter looking for an opening.
Yeah, Hunter's wanting to get by Romano right now because he knows his brother's probably right there.
And he is, wow, I don't know how Hunter pulled that off. I thought Romano had the line covered. Somehow Hunter takes the lead anyway. Romano tries to fight back.
Yeah, he's really fighting for it.
But Hunter Lawrence has the lead. So Romano tried to get to the inside and block that, and somehow Hunter made it work anyway.
Yeah, I was surprised. I didn't even think there was a line there for him to get that good a drive.
Well, now he's got a rider between he and, no, that is Masterpool.
Oh, poor guy.
He has been riding so well, the privateer, as of late. It's just him and his parents and his brother. That's the entire program. Privateer effort. Some fans have been sending money in. Oh, Jet trying to respond and get around Romano just like his brother did. And he does.
And it's starting to look a lot like Moto 1, Jason.
Well, that's not bad. I mean, it was exciting to watch those two duke it out. Can Hunter finally finish it off? And Justin Cooper has rebounded and reset himself. He's in 4th. Holding off Hamaker, who's 5th. Then it's Hampshire, DeFrancisco, Tholen, Varese, and Kelly rounding out the top 10 as we go into the Sand Whoops. So Hunter has another shot at it. He's put himself up front for the 2nd time today. And back out of this section they go. So Hunter has to know he has the speed. He tripled.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Tripled out of those big rollers. We're watching right here, this battle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Justin
was a
Cooper trying to
big-
get a run. Yeah, we're going to show you something in a moment. A couple riders piled up in the sand whoops in the first lap. But look at this right here. Justin Cooper is back. Had a bad first lap, but he has got it back together here.
Oh, look at that. Nicely popped all the way over that landing, and he looks like he's able to make the move.
Almost blew the berm at the top of the hill because he sent it.
Yeah, he had a lot of speed going there.
That's right, but he wanted to make sure he could finish that pass off on Romano. Let's see if Cooper can stay with Jet and Hunter here. Didn't get a chance to do it in Moto 1 because he went down. That was not the first lap that Justin Cooper wanted, but much better here.
And this is a great position for Justin Cooper. This is exactly what he wants. He had it in Moto 1. Unfortunately, he went down. And right now, he's in a great spot.
All right, let's show you the replay. A couple of riders going down on the first lap as Hamaker is bringing the challenge to Romano. That would be for the number 4 spot. He was a little earlier coming out of the sand whoops.
Ooh, looks like a star guy going down there. Whoa, man, just chaos.
Thrasher, acclaimed Shimoda, Brown, Swole, Mumford. So finally, Shimoda gets the start he was looking for. Oh, Styles Robertson is down. He had been really strong as of late. They're all starting in the back. So Shimoda had a decent start this time, but he's down to the pile.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows you, even being in the top 3 is just, it's the place you want to be. You know, you get caught up, someone makes a mistake, and as you saw, 4 or 5 guys get tangled up together. He had a good start.
Yep, it was all Nate Thrasher actually that started that one, and now they're all in the back. Hunter Lawrence's lead, 1.9 seconds. Oh, we have another rider down in this section, so they're telling everybody go wide here. Yellow flags out. It's Thomas Welch who has gone down there on the Yamaha. And once again, Hunter able to control this. He was able to maintain a gap of around 2 seconds for most of the first moto. They're going to red flag it. They're going to red flag it. They were trying to keep everyone wide for Welch in that section.
And I tell you what, Jason, when they do a red flag like this, if you're in Hunter's position, you know somebody's hurt. He went by him and he saw the guy was down, and you're like, man, I hope he's okay.
Yep.
But from Hunter's perspective, dude, you did everything right. You're in a great spot, but now you have to go do that again, and it doesn't always work out.
No, I mean, the start in motocross has an element of randomness to it. You could try to replicate it, but there are no guarantees because we don't line them up in, say, a grid position based on where they are on the lap. They're going to just go back to the gates, and everyone's going to be even again. And Hunter's just going to cruise it around. He's getting confirmation.
Yeah, he's really making sure.
Well, yeah,
I've been
he's
doing
got
the
the
same
lead.
thing too.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to let somebody by. So it's going to take a while for them to get all the way back to the start. It's going to be a pretty significant holdup. But obviously the main concern is safety there of Thomas Welch. Doesn't matter who the rider is, whether they're up front, mid-pack, or wherever they might have been. If they can't get the medical group to him, they are going to red flag it to make sure they can. Robertson is going for the ride in the Alpine Stars mule here. Man, tough break. Styles was really putting things together the last couple of weeks, including that overall podium at Redbud.
Oh, what a bummer. Looks like he's kind of nursing that leg or something.
Yeah, oh man, that is not what you want to see. Just when he was putting the momentum together, he's got the boot off. And what Styles had said, his goal, he had to get through the season healthy. He had been injured far too much early in his pro career here, so all he wanted to do is avoid the problems. And that was the pileup that started, really nothing to do with him. Send it down to Jason Thomas.
Guys, these red flag situations are a full fire drill because for the mechanics, they need extra fuel, extra goggles. They need to find water, get these guys ready to go again. This is not an easy situation for these guys, so there's a lot of scrambling. I'm down here. It's full-on pandemonium.
Yeah, you mentioned the fuel thing. I mean, these bikes, they don't have a lot left at the end of a 30-minute moto.
Yeah.
So they got to top it off. You'll notice the mechanics usually have a bottle there on their hip, on their belt. Oh, that is Welch. He's up and okay.
Yeah, that's a really good sign for us for everybody to see him up and walking away, and he doesn't look happy, but it's good to see him.
Yeah, so that is he's still going to take a ride. Obviously, he is shaken up from that crash, and we'll make sure he's okay. But good to see that Welch is back up. We're going to take a commercial break here from Spring Creek and reset a restart. We had another Lawrence brother battle looming. Will they hook it up again after the restart? We'll find out after this.
The 50th anniversary season of Pro Motocross is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on motorcycle insurance. Motosport.com. Make your next ride your best ride. And by Monster Energy. Unleash the beast.
Back here, Spring Creek, Millville, Minnesota, Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. We had a red flag due to a crash. Luckily, that rider, Thomas Welch, was able to walk off and then take a ride back to the pits with the Alpine Stars medics. So we're ready for a restart here, and we are being told we'll do the full 30 minutes and 2 laps. I think we're about 6 minutes into the moto, but we'll reset it from the top here. And for Hunter Lawrence, who had the lead, he's got to try to replicate the exact same thing, get to that #1 spot again. A couple other riders who were involved in a separate crash, they've got another shot at it, such as Joe Shimodo, who was down.
Absolutely. Joe's probably like, you know what? I didn't want to go down, but, you know, I'm into this right now. I got another opportunity here to get a good start. You can see Nick Way's in there offering some insight. So you know that this is something that they've probably been working on, and this is good for Joe right now.
And probably reviewing some video there. There's Nick Way talking to him right now. Let's send it down to Jason Thomas.
With Ian Harrison with Red Bull KTM, we saw Max Vohland really have a breakout ride there. We kind of been waiting on it all season in that first moto. He really kind of came through. It's been a little bit up and down throughout the first few races of the season. What do you attribute that success to in the first moto?
This previous week, you could see he's making steady gains, but it was just like you said, he needed that breakthrough, and that was definitely a good ride for him. We all needed that, and we get a second shot here at the start. Hopefully he'll get a better one, and we'll see how it goes.
Could you notice a confidence boost back at the truck in between motos there? I noticed with these younger riders, it's so much of it is mental, and whether they can believe they can do it or not.
Oh, absolutely. The mental side is the biggest part of it, and it's the toughest part to get going. So when they have a ride like that, it definitely helps everyone.
Yeah, and that's true for all the riders. They said last week they have been with Aaron Plessinger in the 450 class, who is a proven champion. Every week trying to tell them, you can run with these guys. You can, trying to make them believe it.
Yeah, absolutely. When you get a moto like what AP had at Southwick last weekend, I mean, dude, what a confidence booster, huh?
Yep, and that's what they're hoping for Vohland, who ended up 4th in the first 250 moto today. He was off to a bad start, but the reset and restart will give him another shot at it. And these fans here wait in anticipation of what might be another great battle like we had in the first 250 moto. Jason Wygant, Jeremy Martin, take you through it. Moto 1 to Moto 2 on this track, is it totally different than the first moto? How much does this particular track change?
Yeah, so I'd say for Moto 1, the track's rough, but you haven't seen its full character yet. I mean, you know, you've got 230 plus 2-minute motos done on it now, a 250 guy and the 450. The 450 bikes have a lot more power. They definitely tear the track up a bit more. The tires are the rear tire. It's a 120 versus a 250 is a 110 rear tire.
It's wider.
So it's a little wider.
Yep.
So I think that you see the soil change a little bit more.
Okay.
So for these guys, you know, the track's changing. I think for the 250 guys, it's the roughest it's obviously going to be for them. And I think the track starts to come alive, and it creates more passing opportunities, and you see more mistakes start to happen.
And you see the restart procedure there, by the way. When it says riders will be restarted using original starting positions, that means the gate selections are where they were originally. It doesn't mean we're going to line up with Hunter Lawrence leading the pack. They're all going to the gate. They're all even. But the gate choice will be based on where they were when this moto began. And that is actually based on the first moto results. So we're getting ready to get this race going. In the meantime, let's show you the highlights from our previous race. So the rugged sands of Southwick, Massachusetts, Jason Wygand and the two-time 250 national champion Jeremy Martin to take you through the highlights of round 6. Hunter Lawrence comes into this race with the points lead. His brother Jet blew an engine at the previous race at Redbud, but Hunter gets buried off the start immediately.
Yeah, but Jet gets right out there and does what he does, rebounding after Redbud in that DNF.
That was big, putting the #1 Honda out front. He's got Justin Cooper right there with him. Little rematch of last year's championship battle. Then Jet goes down, and here comes Jay Coop.
Yeah, Jay Coop trying to build on the year after that big foot injury, and man, look at him go.
That was solid, but it wouldn't take long for Jet to catch back up, and the battle for the lead continues. Cooper would eventually make a mistake under pressure.
Yeah, oh, look at Jet, man. Just goes in there, just looking like a veteran, you know, controlling the race.
Gets around Cooper when he makes the mistake, and from there, Jet back to the #1 spot. Then a problem for Hunter, big time.
Yeah, unfortunately, he tangled with Styles Robertson, and when you don't get a good start, you put yourself in a bad position, and you're seeing it right there, and just trying to get going, and Dang it.
He was so lucky to not get speared by one of the other motorcycles, and he was not happy about it. More on that in a bit, but here comes Joe Shimodo, late charge.
Yeah, I love to see it, man. Look at him. You know, you can tell he wants it. He's getting better all year, and, you know, I'd say that's a win for him to be charging late in the moto and being right there.
So he gets around Cooper for second and even made it close for a while against Jet. Then Jet would pull back away with 2 laps to go and take a relatively uncontested first moto win. But it's not over for his brother Hunter. Last lap he finds Robertson.
Yeah, he's getting in there and giving a little bit of style there, a little aggression, and look at that. That's what racing's all about right there, and the fans love to see it.
Oh, tempers flaring. Robertson doesn't want any of that. He felt that Robertson moved over on him, and that caused a crash. It even spilled over into the pits. And Robertson tried to explain his side, and Hunter wasn't having any of it. All that drama, we still have another motor to go, and another bad start for Hunter.
Yeah, and the number 1 gets right out there, and or Justin Coop. Sorry.
Yep, but he's got Jet right there with him, and the rematch is on, but with a third rider in the battle, Levi Kitchen on the 59.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure to train with him in the winter, and man, he's a good kid, and it's nice to see some young talent up there firing.
And he was firing. Look at this. Giving Jet all he can handle.
Yeah, it's nice to see a rookie in there giving a veteran basically now, and yeah, hammering.
And it was a great race to the lead for a while. Several attacks by Kitchen, but he had come from way back in Moto 1, said he ran out of steam a little bit. The latter moments of Moto 2, and Jet was able to get away. And then here comes Shimoda again.
Yeah, Shimoda, man, is just a hard charger. He's making it a little tough on him. If he could get a better start, it'd be really cool to see him and Jet go toe-to-toe.
Here he is getting around Cooper. This would make the difference for second overall. Advantage to the number 30. And here comes Jet pulling away down the stretch just like he did in Moto 1. He will go 1-1. And with Hunter failing to reach the podium in either moto, points lead switches hands right back to the younger Lawrence brother. Going to be joined on the podium by Cooper and Shimoda. So a big day for Jet. Had his bad luck the previous one. Responds with a 1-1 at Southwick. And there are your results. Now, he won the second moto at Redbud after the engine blew, and then he won the first moto today. So Jet Lawrence actually sitting on a 4-moto win streak that he's built at an alarming rate. At one point, it looked like he was on the ropes. Shimoda coming on strong, and Cooper got it back on the podium. But that was last week. Then we had the first moto, as mentioned, where Jet won over his brother Hunter by the slimmest of margins. We are 2 minutes from the gate drop on a red flag and restart. I'm going to presume that we were making sure all the safety people were in the right positions to get ready for this moto to restart, because we had a couple riders banged up in that one, including Thomas Welch and Styles Robertson. Here's your upcoming schedule brought to you by Motorsport.com. We'll go to Washougal next Saturday. That's outside of Portland, Oregon. Washougal, Washington. A beautiful place to spend a summer weekend. That'll be July 23rd. Then we have a couple weekends off, and then the stretch run is Unadilla, New York, Budds Creek, Maryland, Ironman in Indiana, and Fox Raceway in California. Let's send it back down to Jason Thomas.
Well, in that first start, we saw a huge pileup involving both of the Rockstar Husqvarna riders, Styles Robertson and Jalek Swoll. Styles Robertson left on the medic mule, and I just saw Jalek Swoll exit the staging area as well, so it looks like both of those riders won't be starting Moto 2.
And you see on the replay there how they hooked up with each other, trying to get out of the way of Shimoda, who went down with Thrasher, and then Swoll had nowhere to go with Robertson. So that's a worst-case scenario for two teammates.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yep. Two teammates getting together, and for them both not to be lined up, Husky's definitely bumming hard right now.
Yeah, exactly. They had time to get ready, but clearly physically they were not able to go. And for Robertson, who really was starting to build with the podium at Redbud and a pretty solid performance last week at Southwick as well, that's a bummer. So that's it. Mechanics moving away for the second time. We will start our second moto here from Spring Creek and Millville, Minnesota. Fly Racing 30-second card is up. Can Hunter Lawrence deliver and get up front again?
We're about to find out.
A lot of pressure there for the 96 to replicate what he did. He didn't get the whole shot, but he was quickly able to wrestle the lead away from everyone else. Can he do it again? He is the red motorcycle to our right of that center starter's box, or the doghouse, as they call it in motocross terms.
It's interesting to see the different approaches from Hunter and Jet. One's on one side of the box, and it looks like the other one's on the other side.
We've seen that quite a bit that happened at Southwick. You've got to wonder, are they saying, look, let's not run into each other off the line. Here we go. Moto 2 underway. Fantastic jump for Jet, not for Hunter, though.
And we got a Suzuki.
Oh, yeah, one of the Bar X Suzuki riders around the outside. Might that be Mumford making a run? So not a good start for Hunter.
And we got another Star Yamaha up front.
And it's Justin Cooper again. It doesn't matter how many starts you have. He's going to get a bunch of good ones. is that Shimodo with a good start? It is.
And we got Joe Shimodo doing exactly what we wanted him to do.
Oh, but he makes a mistake into the sand whoops, and there goes Jet Lawrence. Lawrence used that same line the first time on the start to make moves, and he's done it again.
The question is, where do we see Jet's brother Hunter?
I think that is Preston Kilroy, I believe, who got the good start on the Suzuki. Yeah, so Hunter, a bad jump. He tucked to the inside to try to minimize the damage, but he is mired.
Ooh,
there he is. I'm going to say about 8th, 9th place.
Yeah, I would agree.
So Jet, meanwhile, hooking it up with his old rival, Justin Cooper, for the #1 spot.
Yeah, and if I'm Jet, I'm looking to run and hide right now. That would be my motto for sure.
Frustration building for Hunter Lawrence. Can he salvage something and move up front here early in this second moto? Justin Cooper leads them uphill.
Nick Romano getting another good start.
Yeah, he was right there on the start the first time around. Out of the top of Mount Martin we go. Justin Cooper trying to hold on. Look, Shimoda's back. He's trying to close back in on the #1. Then it's Romano, and I believe Hampshire with a good start as well on the Rockstar Husqvarna. To the bottom, this is where Cooper threw it away in the first moto, not this time. He's able to keep it upright.
Man, it's really cool to see how deep those ruts are from this shot.
Quite a bit different than Moto 1.
Oh, absolutely. This is what I enjoy the most right here. When the track's at the roughest part of the day, whose suspension setup's the best, who's comfortable. You're going to know after 10 minutes if a guy's got arm pump. Some of these guys are all very fit. But at the 10 to 12 minute mark, if you're not really comfortable, your arms start to, my arms in the past tend to get a little heavy. So it'll be cool to watch these guys and see who's feeling comfortable.
Okay, 1 lap in the books. Justin Cooper leads him around. Lawrence under serious pressure from Joe Shimoda. Shimoda's trying to get him back. A little mistake from Joe, missed the line coming into that corner. And that's why there's a little bit of gap now between Jet and Joe. Second and third, then Romano, Hampshire, Ryder DiFrancesco, Kilroy, who had that good start on the Suzuki, 7th. Hunter Lawrence is 9th behind Hamaker. There he is trying to squeeze through.
Wow, that was some tight action right there.
He almost got taken down by Hamaker. All right, it's going to be salvage mode for Hunter Lawrence. Try to make early passes, but not make things worse by getting tangled up. He's got an opening on Hamaker.
And if I'm Hunter right now, you know your brother's up front. He's very good at paying attention and seeing what's going on. So he's all in, trying to make up as many moves as he can.
Yeah, but Hamaker did not do him any favors. He's doing what he's supposed to do, fighting for his position. ETS drone cam back up front. Jet Lawrence trying to take the lead away from Justin Cooper. Back downhill we go. Fantastic racing here at Spring Creek. And don't count Shimoda out of it in third. He's still lurking.
And
Little
Jet
mistake.
gets a great drive.
Yeah, and that's going to give Jet the opening. Got the drive. That berm did not work for Justin Cooper. Jet Lawrence into the lead. And if you're a Hunter Lawrence fan, this is not what you want to see. Jet with clear racetrack while Hunter's mired in the back. Can Cooper stay with him? And Jet running the protection line on the inside at the bottom of Mount Martin. And he's going to try to pull away. There's Hampshire and DiFrancesco. That's the next group. All right, big moment right here for Jet. He's gotten the lead, but as Jason Thomas has been telling us about, does tend to have a mid-moto lull. The other riders close back in or stay with him. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how he does. You know, obviously he's probably a little bit aware of it. So I'd like to believe he's working on it for sure.
Yes, beginning of the motos and end have been great for Jet. Oh, and Shimoda.
And
he's all over Cooper.
Yeah, we got a good battle brewing here, and this is exactly where Joe wants to be. He can actually see him for once, and he's in a great position. And yeah, we'll see what unfolds.
Yeah, so is it going to be Joe getting around Cooper, or can Cooper hang with Jet and continue to apply pressure? You see these three starting to break away. Hampshire is 4th, then Romano. DiFrancesco. Hamaker has moved to 7th. Lawrence is 8th. They've gained 1 position from the previous lap. Into the sand rollers. Shimoda had an opening but couldn't get close enough to use it on Cooper. So critical how this next lap or two plays out. Because you know if you're Shimoda, you do not want to see Jet disappear into the distance. Look at the gap they've built.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and you're talking about Hampshire, a guy who has won multiple races in this series. Then it is two young riders who have some rivalry from back in their amateur days, Romano and DeFrancesco. Then it's Hammaker. Here is Hunter Lawrence.
This guy's earning it today, isn't he?
Eating a lot of that sand. I know that this track has great dirt, but they mean that from a traction perspective, not taste.
Yeah, nobody enjoys eating that dirt out there for sure. You know, it's yeah, it'll wear on you.
And that's what Hunter's trying to avoid. About 2 laps deep, battling Hammaker, running way around the outside.
Yeah, got a great drive there at the bottom of Mount Martin, and just able to get a good drive up the hill and take it over.
Lawrence brothers think alike. That's the same line that Jet used to take the lead away from Justin Cooper. Back to this. Jet starting to get away. Shimoda looking for a way around Cooper.
It's nice to see Jay Coop. We didn't really get to see what he had in Moto 1. Fastest qualifier, and then right now you got him doing what he should have been doing in Moto 1 had he not gone down.
And as they battle, it only makes things worse in the points for Hunter because they have built up this big gap. So even if he can get some clear racetrack, he's going to have a long way to go to get into this podium battle. Oh, Shimoda!
Ooh,
Try that inside. Not able to make it happen. We've seen some passing in this corner here. Cooper doing a good job running all the insides. Shimoda can't get to him. Another lap clicks off. And we're going to stay commercial free here all the way to the checkered flag here because we did have that break with the red flag restart. So we can show you all the action right now. And you don't want to go away from it because Cooper and Shimoda are all over each other as they make another run into the Sam Whoops.
And I've been in this position many times trying to pass Justin Cooper, and he's a very crafty, tough individual to pass. And you know, it's like you think you have a line on him, and you almost get him, and then the next lap he's able to sense that, and he takes that exact line, and you're like, dude, that was my move. That's what I was banking on trying to get you. So if you're Shimoda right now, it's like, God, you know, you're just, where am I going to get him? You're thinking of how am I going to set this guy up? I'm really good on this side of the track. I notice I got a good drive on him here. You see him going inside.
Oh, that was one line. No. Cooper got passed there by Jet Lawrence, so he switched to the outside. It almost didn't work. It still might not. Shimoda's going to give him a run to the top. Cooper sends it in there.
Far outside.
Wow, might this work for Shimoda, who just won't give up on it. Now he's going to switch from one side of the track to the other. They bounce down Mount Martin. Oh! Shimoda squares it up. Just what you're saying. He took 3 or 4 shots at it, and Cooper was in the right place every time.
Absolutely. And when you take these shots at it like this, you're expelling a lot of energy.
Yeah, right, because you're giving it that 2-3 extra percent trying to make the move.
Exactly. You're just a little bit more aggressive and everything like that. So if I'm Joe, you don't want to continuously put yourself in this position. So you kind of, obviously, you just want to make it stick and you want to move forward.
And as they're battling, look, Lawrence has extended it to about 2 seconds. Shimoda, different line than he was the last time. Different line here. He's trying to get all the way to the left for this next corner.
That was in the air. Whew.
Cooper wouldn't let it happen. And that's exactly what you're saying. Several times it looked like the pass was materializing, but Cooper's hard to get around. And he's got so much experience. He has been a good starter since his day one in the pro ranks, so he has been in this situation a lot. Riding hard under pressure, Justin Cooper.
Absolutely. Moto 2 here right now. You know these guys, like I said, their legs were a little heavy on the line. You're out here, you're in a battle like this, and you really just want to improve and move forward and have something to go back to the truck with and have the team and everybody be proud of.
Yeah, and it is a pitched battle between these two. He was second and third overall at the last race. Cooper wants to make that step. He wants to take some momentum away. Surely he's aware how well Shimoda's been riding. He wants to be the rider battling the Lawrences, not Shimoda.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys both want to be up there. You can just see they want to win.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's their whole life. It's what every day we wake up and we have one goal and one vision, and that's to be the best racer in the world.
Down to the bottom of the hill. It was side by side here 1 lap ago. Cooper was on the outside. Now Cooper's on the inside. Oh, and he drifted wide to block the line. Fly battle box is showing, I think that's rider DeFrancesco who's battling it out with Hunter Lawrence. Yes, it is. That is now for 5th place. So top of the hill, bottom of the hill, our split screen. Hunter there makes the move on Ryder D. Use that outside line to make it happen. Both he and Jet have had success there. Then back to this battle. Shimodo is trying everything to get Cooper, but can't make it happen. Let's send it down to Jason Thomas and more on the rookie Ryder D. Francesco.
Coming into this weekend, Ryder D. Francesco was unsure if he would ride both motos due to the Loretta Lynn's amateur points rule. I just spoke with Mitch Payton, and he assured me that he is good to go for this moto, so let's see what he's got.
Yeah, what that is a 40-point limit. If you score 40 points as a pro, you're out of amateur racing. They do want in the race at least one more amateur race, the Monster Energy National at Loretta's in a few weeks. But where he stood coming into this one, I think he'd have to finish right around the podium to be flirting with that 40-point mark. So right now running in 5th, 6th, doesn't really matter. He's still going to be under 40. Feet on pegs is the note for Cooper.
See, now that's the cool thing about racing is like your mechanic knows you. You guys work in and day out during the week. On the weekends, you're doing all the Supercross rounds, all the outdoor rounds, so they get to know you pretty well. They can read your body English when you're out there, and then obviously, as you see, he kind of knows exactly what Jay Coop needs to work on.
And do that while dealing with pressure from Joe Shimoda. This is not going to be easy right now. Shimoda's trying to send it around the outside. Too far out. Man, you called it 3 or 4 laps of relentless attacks from Shimoda, and Cooper just won't let it happen.
Yeah, and while this battle's going on, you see Jet Lawrence is slowly starting to inch the gap out just a little bit more every lap.
3.7 seconds the gap from Lawrence to this 2nd and 3rd place fight. Then it's Hampshire, and then Hunter Lawrence. And this might be Hunter's only hope that these two keep battling. Oh, what a mistake by Cooper.
What a line.
Both a mistake and a great line by Shimoda, and after all that fighting, it ended up being that easy. He just rolled through. To say, why couldn't you let that happen 3 laps ago? Come on, Jay Coop. Well, now it's going to be another furious charge second half of the race. It's what it's going to take from Shimoda if he wants to go after Lawrence. We got a couple replays here. Let's show you the start here and the line that Jet Lawrence used. Let's watch Jet Lawrence do this section.
Oh, he's flirting right there, right on top of those service markers, but he's able to land. See how Jay Coop had to downside that? He's going about 5-10 feet further and landing on right where that acceleration bump is.
And here's his pass with Shimoda and Cooper. Cooper almost loses the front, and that was beautiful by Joe.
Yeah, it was very smooth.
Was there even a line there, or did just Joe make that one up?
You know, I think Joe saw him kind of go wide, and he's like, dude, this is my opportunity. I'm going to make something happen.
I've been eating roost for a while here. So he's in the 2nd, and we'll give you the lap time once they come to the finish line to see if Shimoda can close in. He did make a bid one race ago once he got into 2nd and started to close on Jet. We check back in with Hunter Lawrence in 5th. Look, this is a great ride from where he started, but 5th isn't going to cut it in points, and you know he's the first person to realize that. So you're going to see him hammer down right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he's probably kind of kicking himself. Obviously, he knew he had a good start in that first moto before the red flag, and you know he's making it a little tough on himself.
Hunter Lawrence got a long way to go. 9 seconds is the gap between he and the 4th place rider, RJ Hampshire, who's on the number 24 Rockstar Husqvarna. It's going to be everything Hunter has, even those 2 championship points that would get away. And man, the frustration has to be setting in. He's got to feel like he could have beaten Jet today.
Yeah, absolutely. He definitely had the speed. Look at Moto 1. I mean, if you look at the lap, you know they're going to go home after this, and they're going to look at the lap times, and I'm sure they're going to be identical and very close. They're going to ride together this week, and it's going to be on his mind a little bit for sure on how he can improve and minimize the damage and these mistakes.
We go back to this battle. There is Volan, then Romano, Hamaker, and Thrasher, who was right there, had that big crash in the first moto, so he was okay, and he's back up. Great battle between Hamaker and Thrasher. Thrasher keeps the bike a little lower over that jump and makes the move. And now Romano under pressure.
I tell you what, when you're battling with your teammates, you're just like, you want to be the best guy on the team, you know? And that was some tight action right there. You know they'll be talking about that after the race.
Yeah. And they were barely staying in those ruts. It was almost a crash and then almost a collision. And Hamaker's trying to strike back as well. Hamaker on the inside. He's going to try to take advantage. Halfway through this moto, 15 minutes down, 15 minutes to go. You can save 15% or more on your insurance with Geico. Thrasher's back, going to take another shot at it with Romano. Send it down to JT with more of the 49.
One of the biggest benefactors of this restart has to be Nate Thrasher. He was dead last coming around the first lap of that first go-around, and now you see him up there battling for a top 10. So not all things are bad for the red flag.
And a crash for Romano, and he might have taken Thrasher with him.
Oh my God, they hit midair.
They did, and you were saying it's difficult when teammates are battling. Yes, it did take Thrasher down. And we've got a pile of Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing machines.
Oh, what a bummer to see.
I'll tell you what, Thrasher has had some rough luck at this race. He got hit in the whoops last year, and now he's down again. Let's send it back to Jason Thomas.
I would like to take back everything I just said about Nate Thrasher, and nothing is going right in Moto 2 for Nate Thrasher.
No, not at all. And a lot of this stuff not his fault. The crash on the first start was he lost the front end. He's trying to get back into it, so at least he's not hurt. All right, let's take a couple of looks at it. That took us by surprise.
It looks like Romano comes in here, he scrubs, and Thrasher.
Oh.
It's like, oh man.
Yeah, so Romano's rear tire hit Thrasher in the air, and it completely upset the bike, and he went for a ride. But the flagger there almost got hit.
Man, when you're midair like that, Jason, I'm telling you, it is the scariest thing in the world. You know, you're just like, what is going to happen? Wow.
Yeah, he caught traction on Thrasher's bike.
And then it shot Romano's rear wheel down into like a loop out.
Yeah. Oh, man. So we were talking about the teammates battling and how nerve-wracking that can be, and it cost both of them. Back to the leader, Jet Lawrence, 5 seconds over Shimoda. Last lap around. As we check back in with Thrasher, who's in the mechanics area now, they are, yes, thrashing on the motorcycle, trying to get him back out there. There is Romano.
Oh, man, he looks beat up, but it's good to see him walking.
Yeah.
That was a big hit.
Man, and he had to be taken by surprise, but all of a sudden the bike in midair changes trajectory. Tough break for Romano. He takes some cheers from the crowd. Meanwhile, I was telling the story of the lap times. Last time around, Jet Lawrence 3/10 faster. Did you see him jump into that corner?
Yeah, that was very, very smooth and nice. And you saw a lot of that at Southwick. Did you see him hopping the bumps?
Oh, yeah, he's doing it right
just
there.
making his life easy and conserving energy. I would have been pounding him.
That's the way you do it.
Just a full bulldog, yeah.
Well, you raced this guy one-on-one last year. You got to see it firsthand.
Yeah, absolutely. When I watch him, even behind him in the epic battle before I broke my arm at Ironman, I mean, I was just smashing.
Yeah.
You know, I was smashing. I'm like, I'm going to get this guy. Like, he's not any better than me, and just finding anything I can because it was hot out that day, and he's just making it look all effortless and floating around the track. And as you see, it's pretty to watch.
Yeah, and he has pulled away from Shimoda, but jumping those bumps, it looks cool and it looks effortless. But you know, if you get it wrong, we haven't seen him do that. If you go 5 feet in the wrong direction, either way.
Yeah, absolutely. But if I'm Joe, you know, you had a rough start in the first moto. You had a rough start before they red flagged it. You got off to a better start. So what did I'd be thinking about when I go home tonight? What did him and Nick Way do? We saw them reviewing the footage.
Yep.
What did they do? Now, how do we duplicate that?
Each week.
Each
here on
week
out,
now.
yes.
That is the goal.
Because the starts have been the weakness for Joe. He even said, he's even used words like bad start as usual and things like that. RJ Hampshire has entered the battle. There is the 24.
It's good to see RJ up front battling here. He's never going to give up. I've had some battles with this guy, and I mean, I've been hurting at the end of the moto, and I'm like biting the end of inside my cheek, just trying to hold on to find some motivation, and he's just been right there the whole time.
And Romano tried to restart his bike. That thing is mangled now. Steam coming out of the radiator area. He's too hurt. He's going to go back down and take a rest. Tough break for him as he's battling with his teammate. We go back on the other screen to Hampshire, and with Hampshire digging and digging and digging to try to get Justin Cooper for third, that is not doing Hunter Lawrence any favors. Hunter Lawrence is not closed in from fifth at all.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. If you're in Hunter's position, it's like damage control. I'm just trying to move forward, and with Hunter, same thing. He's just trying to move forward.
There it is, 24K Golden here with the gold on the back of his jersey as he tries to track down Cooper. This is a big run. I mean, he was almost, 7 or 8 seconds down. But that's what Hampshire does, man. He'll just keep charging as we catch back up to Shimoda. The beta drone is showing you the gap. There is Jet underneath that fly banner.
We'll have to monitor the gap between Jet to Shimoda.
Yep. It's 5.7, and now it's 5.9 in this beta drone cam. So he just took just about a half second out of it. Previous time around, he gained 0.3. He had lost 0.3 the lap before that. This is that yo-yo battle. And Shimoda and Jet, man, they are really good friends off the track. It's pretty hilarious when you get them together, which has been the case on the podium and in the press conferences quite often. I remember you talking about when you were on that Geico Honda team, and they were both there as kids, the youth group that you had to deal with back then. You had some crazies.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I remember Jet was just like a kid, some of the stuff he did, and I'm like, God, man, you're just a kid. And I felt like the old guy on the team, And I really like Joe, and I really like Jet. And with me being a little bit older, they brought in like a youthfulness, a good energy, and I always call Joe the samurai.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, he's trying to slice and dice to the front right now and close back in on Jet. But Jet is very good at managing leads. We've seen it all year long. And by the way, if he holds on, and Joe's not giving up on it, no doubt, but he's looking for 5 straight moto wins. And Jet Lawrence would have 6 overalls in 7 rounds. And again, the only one he doesn't win is the one where his bike broke. He could be 7-0.
That's incredible, because when I won my championships, I won 5 overalls.
And we thought you were dominant.
I know.
2014?
I know, and this guy's won, what, 6 out of 7?
Yeah, and could easily be 7 out of 7 if the bike doesn't let go at Redbud, because he was leading that first moto and he won the second moto. Wow. Shimoda, not here for that. He's trying to close in, but it opened back up to 5.5. Here is Justin Cooper, digging as deep as he can. He needs to. He's got Hampshire in the rear view. He's responded a bit to the charge from Hampshire. And again, as they push each other for third, not allowing Hunter Lawrence to make any sort of a dent. In fact, he's losing time. He's almost 20 seconds back of Hampshire now. So that might be it for Hunter's attempts. And the 2-5 scores, if it ends like this for Hunter Lawrence, not at all indicative of, I mean, he could have won it today if you play this race out again.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a bummer. It's just a bummer on that restart.
And we've been talking quite a bit about the frustration. The 2 brothers have definitely kept it very civil, seems very relaxed, but if you're Hunter, you got to be like, man, things just aren't going my way. I'm riding well enough to do it. Show you what it looked like at the beginning of this one with the motosport.com whole shot replay. Hunter is in the middle of the screen. He's getting buried. And there's Shimoda on the inside. And Preston Kilroy with a nice run in the Suzuki in yellow on the outside, but it's Justin Cooper in the middle getting it done.
You know, I'd be curious to see what happened to Hunter. Like, did you spin off the gate? Were we a little late on the reaction time? You know, what'd you do different? Yeah,
that start was no good. It's actually pretty smart to sneak to the inside and make it a little bit better than it could have been. He might have been mid-pack. We check back in with Cooper here. Cooper and Hampshire are the closest battle on the track. Behind Hunter Lawrence in 5th, you got Voland. DeFrancisco is 7th. Hamaker Brown and Carson Mumford just got back into action recently after missing some of the early rounds of the year. He is 10th on that Bar X Chaparral Suzuki. It's a good job by Mumphy. Then it's Varese. Kilroy with a good start. He's 12th. He's a rider in his first full pro season. Kelly, Prabula, and Hawkins, 15th. Talon Hawkins, his pro debut today in 15th. Back to our leader, Jet Lawrence. Looking good. Anytime Joe gets a little dent in it, pops that dent back out.
Yeah, absolutely. Isn't it fun to watch Jet ride and watch how he carries momentum? You see how he went a little bit wider there, avoiding some of the bumps, jumping into that turn, not burying it too much.
I can imagine it's fun when you're riding like this.
Yeah, absolutely. When you find the flow, when you're out front like this and you're pulling a gap, there's no better feeling in the world. There's honestly no better feeling, and you're hitting your marks, and you feel like it's coming at you effortlessly. It's a feeling that I wish you could bottle it up, and I could just say, "Here you go, Jason."
Yeah, I'd like to experience it, but hey, look, you've been on the mend with an injury, and is that what makes you say, "I'm not done. I want to come back"? It's just to search for this.
Yeah, absolutely. I just love the feeling of competition. I love to line up. I love to test myself. Do I have what it takes? Lining up. Like if for example, if I was 2 seconds off the fastest qualifying time today, you know what? You still got to line up. When the gate drops, it's the greatest equalizer. Can I overcome it? With me being a little bit more of a veteran and stuff, I think about things a little bit different than maybe a rookie would. But it's just a challenge. And
Jet Lawrence is the challenge that everyone has to face in this class as he aims for a second straight 1-1. A fifth straight Moto win, and as we mentioned, 6 overalls in 7 rounds this year. And it obviously that number is dominant. 6 out of 7 is dominant, but it maybe doesn't seem as dominant as it actually is because he's been winning in different ways, sometimes with just consistency. It's not that he's going out there and winning every Moto by a minute. It's a little different the way he approaches it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, but that's the cool thing. He's kind of won every way that you possibly could this year. He's been tested. You know, he's had a DNF, and if you get a DNF, that's 25 points, Jason.
Yes.
You know, and to come back from that and to get a win, I mean, that's right away, right off the bat. That's a great way to re-solidify some momentum going your way.
He is 14th all-time in overall wins in this class. If he gets to win today, he'll tie the great Jeff Ward for 13th all-time, and he's 2 wins away from Eli Tomac's career mark in this class, trying to move into the top 10 overall on 250 career wins, flying into these corners, having fun surfing his way around across the top of the bumps at Spring Creek. Oh, he's just showing off now. This is just pure style. That is amazing to watch.
Yeah, I think he's kind of found his flow, you know, and he's hitting his marks. He's doing what he has to do, and he's not taking any more risks than need be. Maybe he has a little bit more speed, but you don't need to necessarily show it.
Got the gap up to 6.8 over Shimodo, Cooper, Hampshire. That battle there has settled down a little bit. But hold on, Jet's got to deal with the lap traffic. It's Marcellizzi there on the 19. I believe he's a rookie as well. First full pro season for him. And they head out of the sand wash and back uphill. So Jet Lawrence had to deal with some adversity today. His brother overcame him early in the first Moto. He was able to get him back late. And it looked like we had a battle on our hands in Moto number 2, but then we had a red flag and a restart. Hunter Lawrence got buried there. It's a good battle for Jet to have to deal with Justin Cooper. A couple other riders who had good starts in this Moto, but once he had the lead, he's been able to control it on that Honda HRC machine.
Man, I tell you what, right now, I mean, just judging off of last year when I was out there, Mount Martin's getting pretty rough right now.
Okay.
Yeah, you're going down that downhill. You're clicking 4th gear right about there. You can see the people are hopping some bumps and stuff like that. It's not very fun to ride it when you're going that fast and it's that rough.
and what makes it worse than you guys, I mean, that's an area where you can really gain and lose time. There's an incentive.
Absolutely.
To send it down there.
There's like big bonus points to going a little fast there.
Yeah, exactly. Do not take it easy. No rest for the weary here in Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. Excuse me, clock about to expire. 1 minute and 2 laps to go in this Moto. So we're probably looking at 3 to go for Jet Lawrence, and I think that's it for the bid from Shimodo, as the gap is up to nearly 7 seconds. Shimodo at the top of the screen there dealing with lap traffic. So here's Jet Lawrence. Going to be 3 to go here. And the fans are saluting this effort. And we focus more on the on-track racing stuff here on these shows, but obviously, as you probably have heard, the Lawrence brothers are pretty dynamic. They have fan sections at some of these races where they sell their merch. We had the donut giveaways last year, the sign contest. So the fans love to see these guys in person, both Jet and Hunter. And Jet's putting on a show for them today. That's beautiful to watch.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to see their lap times. We got Jet Lawrence, his fastest of the lap was a 2:13. And then looks like the last lap around, he's a 2:17. So I think he's definitely in management mode right now. It looks like Shimoda maybe took a second off that gap that he had. And I bet, you know, Joe's still hard charging there. He just ran a 2:15. Justin Cooper's at a 2:15. And even Hampshire 2:15. So you know, those guys are still charging, but I think Jet's kind of, wouldn't you say, Jason, maybe kind of managing?
It's just what he's done all year, so you've got to assume that's part of the plan. We check back in with these teammates battling. So you got Ryder D here on the 523, second pro race for him. And Hamaker had a good start, and then some bad laps, went all the way to the back of the train. Hamaker's put it back together, and he has caught his young teammate for 7th. It's two products of the very potent Team Green Kawasaki amateur program. Now hooked up at the pro level. I don't know what happened to Hamaker those first couple of laps, but he has sorted it back out. And he wants to get some of these positions back. I mean, at one point he was ahead of DeFrancesco. Now he's behind him, but closing. And Hamaker, rider out of Pennsylvania, is coming to these tracks for the first time, to quite a few of them, as he missed most of last season with an illness. Oh, he's looking to make the pass. He's got it. Well, Hamaker on the move here. All right, he's definitely showing some fitness.
Yeah, he definitely is for sure. And then with Ryder D, I mean, you're running up front, you're giving it your all. This is your second Moto View log today, and you know a lot of these guys, you know, they've got a couple seasons under their belt, so they've built a decent base with fitness. And with him, he's just getting thrown into it.
And DeFrancesco, part of a big gang of young talent who's on the radar for a long time, from a very young age on the 50cc bikes, all from Bakersfield, California himself, Styles Robertson, and also his teammate, Jet Reynolds, who we're still awaiting to make his pro debut. Reynolds has just been beset by injury after injury. Hopefully we get Jet Reynolds out on the track before this 2022 season is over. But now the old Bakersfield bunch, as we call them, has come of age, and we might see races next year with all three of them in it. Hamaker, completely different story, relatively low profile coming out of Pennsylvania, but he started to turn it up in his Super Mini days, and he's had a lot of setbacks of his own, and Kawasaki is stuck with him.
Whoa.
Oh.
Just taking some roost right there, man. 2 laps ago, and you're just still getting pelted.
That's right. If it's not a battle, it's the lap traffic that'll do it to you. It's hitting Hamaker. But the patience that Kawasaki has shown with Hamaker has paid off. He's missed a lot of time, but every time this guy's out there, he's good.
Yeah, absolutely, especially in Supercross. I mean, that guy went on some runs, didn't he?
Yeah, a lot of podiums at the beginning of the year until another injury. Works closely with Ivan Tedesco, who's both a former champion of this class, but also did bike testing for the team, and then he's a bit of a rider coach for some of the riders, such as Hamaker. And that's paying off here, Hamaker putting it back together. He has been a good, solid, positive surprise throughout a lot of the summer. Came out there with the fastest qualifying time in our opener at Fox Raceway. We go back to Lawrence. Lead is now 7.1 seconds. So he's gotten the job done, there's no doubt about it. And it's interesting because, you know, the American amateur system, for example, I'm talking about riders from California being known when they were 5, 6 years old on 50s. And then the entire apple cart gets upset when the Lawrence brothers came here to the United States. And they make no bones about it. You know, the old Geico Honda team that you rode for, that they originally rode for in the U.S., they were signing Hunter Lawrence. They took his brother also, but Jet was pretty young. And I was talking to his dad, Darren, earlier today, and they said, you know, when they signed Hunter to a pro deal with the Geico Honda team, he's like, Jet wasn't even winning on an 85. He was crashing all the time. He was trying to go too fast. It wasn't like he was dominant, but the team took a chance on both brothers. And now they got 1-2 in the series.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the racing the MXGPs and stuff and riding in the sand, I mean, you can kind of tell Jet's style is he must have learned something from riding those deep sand tracks over there. Just the way he can float around the track. Even Hunter as well.
Well, that was part of the plan. They always wanted to come to the United States, but their dad really felt that there were lessons to be learned in Europe along the way. Obviously, the riding style that you're talking about, I think they just learned to being humble. I was talking to the old owner. We were over there with Jeff Myshak, who ran that Geico Honda team, was one of the owners of that, and he said, man, when they came here, I mean, they had no money, none. I mean, they could not have had a more humble upbringing. I mean, this family literally sold everything they owned in Australia to make the move to Europe, and they were not surefire successes. I mean, there was a massive risk to do that. It all looks great now when you look back at it.
Yeah, but, you know, along the way there was, I mean, you see them winning and having a good time and everything like that now, but yeah, everyone's got a story and everyone struggled along the way, you know, and all of a sudden it's like, dude, where'd they come from?
Yes.
But these guys have been grinding for years.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. And we say that about you and your brother, you know, your parents own this track, so, you know, I always assumed you know, your dad and mom's #1 goal was for you to come out here and win races, but you said no. It was late coming for you and your brother.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my dad he raced hare scrambles back in the day for Can-Am Bombardier, and he bought this place in 1988. He's had it for 34 years, and everything he made from racing he put into this place. And as you see, it's just kind of it's his heart and soul has been put into it, and over the years, I think you could see the transformation.
Yeah, your brother Alex saying yesterday, we didn't even travel. We just rode to 3 local tracks when we were growing up. We didn't go to all the big amateur events. So from humble roots, champions can be grown, and that is the story here with Jet Lawrence, who already is the defending champ of this class. He won a Supercross championship this year earlier, and he's taking a much bigger step today as he's looking for 5 straight moto wins and 2 straight overalls and extending that points lead. Jet Lawrence, 1-1 at Millville. I believe we had a crash there from Hampshire. That's what we were trying to show you as Shimodo comes across in 2nd, Cooper 3rd. Hampshire was 4th. Let's see if that affects Hunter Lawrence's running position. That was another rider that was a lap down, I think. That wasn't Hampshire coming across the line. It was a Rockstar Husqvarna. I'd imagine that was actually Hawkins. Look at this. He got a big enough lead to nicely park the motorcycle on the stand. Doing things right.
Yeah, he's got some energy left over, I'd say, huh?
So another 1-1 for Jet, who is trying to reclaim control of this series after being put on the ropes when the bike blew up at Redbud. And boy, has he ever responded. Has won every moto since. And we now can show you what happened to Hampshire here on the last lap. But I believe he still finished 4th. Oh, he was digging after Cooper still.
Oh, man. Maybe he didn't get the front end in that rut.
Okay. But he had a big gap built up over Hunter Lawrence and was still able to hold it for 4th at the end. So Hunter Lawrence, man, he's going to go 2-5 today. That's going to hurt because he had the speed to take it to his brother. It did not work out. Jet Lawrence wins again. STACYC designs every aspect of their bikes to make learning to ride easier and more fun for kids at each stage of their development. So check out 4-year-old Willie Haggerty from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on his 12 E-Drive. And if you want to be in a future broadcast, scan the QR code you see on the screen and submit your video entry. STACYC offers riders the ability to ride and progress almost anywhere, and you can experience the whole lineup of models from the 12E all the way up to the new 20E at STACYC.com.
The 50th anniversary season of Pro Motocross is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. With a nationwide network of parts and care, Napa helps you get up and go. Honda, celebrating 50 years of off-road dominance. And by Lucas Oil. Keep that engine alive.
That is Spring Creek, right? That is Spring Creek, right? Okay,
Absolutely.
we got that. Yep, there we go. Here in Millville, Minnesota. It's hot outside, and these fans enjoying a little cool down between motos. Our 250 racing for the day is done. Let's send it down to the podium with Jason Thomas and your race winner.
Jet Lawrence, what a difference 2 weeks makes. You leave here with a big points lead, going 1-1 on the day. That one looked a little bit easier than the first moto.
Yeah, no, 100%. I could got 2 really decent starts around 4th and made a couple moves. Obviously, first one got red flag. The person I was down, I hope they're okay, and a quick recovery for them. You hate seeing riders lay on the ground, so it's a bummer for that guy. Hopefully, he has a speedy recovery if something's bad. But no, second start was about the same as first one, and made a few passes going to first. And I had this one. I think I had a lot better flow where I wasn't using as much energy as the first one. And I mean, the first one was a kind of like a bit of a sprint off kind of thing with Hunter. This one I got my gap and then just managed from there. There's no need to send it. I was thinking halfway through maybe I should push. You know, you just start the build for 450s, but no, we just cruised around the finish, and it was probably maybe one of the easiest ones of the year, which is good. But I know there's some tough ones coming up, so I can't wait for them.
And that's it. Hunter Lawrence is going to lose a bunch of points today with Jet taking the 1-1 and the full 50-point score. That was a great battle with them in the first moto. We thought we were going to have a rematch in Moto 2. Hunter was out front, but then we had a red flag and a restart. Here's a crash in this first start. This is not actually the one that caused the red flag. Bunch riders down, though. It was tough on, look at the 31 and the 50 and the 43 all the way on the right. Swoll and Robertson ended up not being able to race, but it was Thomas Welch's crash later that led to the red flag. Hunter Lawrence is leading the way, but that's the end. They restart it. Hunter gets buried off the start. It leads to a great battle between Justin Cooper and Jet Lawrence. Jet around the outside. That was a big move. And Cooper was in second, and relentless pressure from Joe Shimoda.
Yeah, and Joe just kept charging all the way to the end, and just as you see right there, just a beautiful pass.
And finally, Joe's into the number 2 spot. He would try to keep Jet honest. Gap was around 5 seconds most of the way. Scary crash.
Yeah, really scary crash right there. Both of them were able to get up and walk away. Hopefully they're going to be all right. Romano.
Yeah, Romano and Thrasher. And man, that was tough to see, especially with 2 teammates. There is the team letting Jet Lawrence know he had a solid enough lead. He had enough energy left to put the bike on the stand to take the cheers from the crowd. He made it look easy in that second moto and had fun with it as well. There are your Moto 2 results. Shimoda second, Cooper third. Hampshire, despite the fall on the last lap, finishes up in 4th. Hunter Lawrence 5th. That's not what he wanted. Folan, Hammaker, DeFrancisco, Brown, and Mumford top 10. Let's go back to the podium with JT.
Joe Shimoda, great ride, 3-2 on the day. Starting to make a habit out of these podiums, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, every race I feel like I'm improving little by little, and especially second moto finally got the good start. I mean, third, fourth is a whole shot to me. So just want to say thank you so much to Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki, my trainer Nick, mechanic Matt, everybody else, family. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Shimoda racking up podium after podium after podium. He is third in the series points. Had a podium at High Point, 1 at Redbud, 2nd overall last week, 2nd overall this week. So Joe keeps it rolling. And you said at the top of the show, you're impressed with what you're seeing from the podium.
Absolutely. I think he's kind of stacking little victories. You know, he may not be winning every race like Jet, but he's stacking them.
Oh yeah, he's definitely building some confidence as well. We're not done from the podium here. Definitely some stories to tell with this rider. Let's send it down to JT.
Hunter Lawrence, rough start. I know that wasn't the moto you wanted. Just looked like you couldn't kind of get going in the middle of the moto there. Kind of tell us what happened.
It was a rough one. The first, we had a restart, obviously, and my first start was good. I used up all my good starts, I guess, and I sucked off the gate in the second one. Just messed up my clutch delivery and made it pretty tough. Yeah, I was struggling in the end. I was like feeling it. I was pretty tired. So, yeah, Jet's crushing it. He's riding awesome. So props to him and Joe. And yeah, just happy to be up on the box.
Keeping it positive there. But he did lose 12 points today. He's got to be frustrated, though. He was leading when the red flag came out.
Yeah, absolutely he's frustrated. But, you know, there's nothing you can do about it. It's in the past, and we're already moving on.
Got to move on. Area overall results. We'll send it back down to the podium. We got Justin Cooper.
Justin Cooper, you led that first lap. I know that's what you've been searching for. A little bit better that time. Like, it seemed like you hung in there. One big mistake towards the end of the race, but otherwise seemed pretty clean.
Yeah, it was a good moto. I just lacked a little bit of energy. I wasted a lot in that first moto. When I tipped over in the lead, I kind of was, I freaked out a little bit, and I had some work to do. So put in some sprint laps and just expended a lot of energy. So energy wasn't that good that one, but was able to keep those guys in sight. They were riding really good. Couldn't really make up any time on them. They constantly pulled me, and they just kept it the same. So a little bit of count and mass, but it's good to be in the fight. Got to give it up to the whole team. We've been working really hard, Star Racing Yamaha, and we're going to go back to work this week. We got one more before the break, and yeah, we're going to keep trying to be up front. It's fun.
That's 4th overall for Justin Cooper, but 3rd in the moto. Here's your point standings. Look at that, 27 now the gap, a full moto between Hunter and Jet. But there's plenty of racing left, and Hunter showed today he does have the speed to be able to beat his brother and try to get those points back. We'll see next weekend when we race the 250 class at Washougal. We're not done today, though, from Spring Creek. We have 450 Moto 2 coming your way in just a moment. But for now, signing off for Jeremy Martin and Jason Thomas, I'm Jason Wygant. Congrats to our race winner, Jet Lawrence.